Lewis Art for The Ring magazine, delighted today to join Malik Scott here in Nottingham ahead of Ezra Taylor's challenge against Troy Jones. Yeah, how's things? How are you enjoying Nottingham? How is it?
Everything is good, man. Good. Really enjoying Nottingham. Starbucks, cigars, culture. A lot of nice shops on very small blocks. And the people here are very mannerable. And most of all, they have one of the best up-and-coming light heavyweights in the division, future light heavyweight champion, Ezra Taylor, and he's going to put on a show like a professional come Saturday night.
As I say, yeah, obviously Ezra Taylor taking on Troy Jones in what is a big step up at this point in his career. Yeah, guess what is it like working with Ezra now and having him over, and I guess what have you seen in him now as what gives you confidence, you say, as a future in the light heavyweight division? Well,
first of all, his character. He's consistent. He's a sponge for knowledge. He's very well structured, extremely determined. In my opinion, he's a coach's dream. You tell him do anything, there's no rebuttal back. He understands the system that you're giving him. It's for his body type, it's for his style. And he's very good at adapting and adjusting to not just anything in the ring, but also any obstacle life may throw his way. I've watched this young man go through some trials and tribulations during training camp, some things that would distract the typical fighter. It didn't distract him. He kept his faith in God. He continued to keep his foot on the gas and worked hard. And he made a lot of sacrifices. And Saturday night is all going to pay off for him.
When you talk about him being a sponge for knowledge as well, you talk about that, as you say, that it must be such a coach's dream where no matter what you drill into him, he takes it sort of first on board instead of sort of over and over again. It must be a real dream for you to have someone like that.
Yes, absolutely, because I'm a teacher, and my teaching is based off of what I see. My teaching is based off of body types. My teaching is based off of your strengths and add on to what may be your weakness and turn them into strengths as well. With Ezra, we go over film, sparring after every sparring session. We're constantly talking about boxing. We're talking about things that he want to do in boxing. And like I say, one thing about Ezra Taylor, he's also a role model. He can lead the way for the youth and the next generation that's going to come after him. So like I said, he sacrificed a lot to be here. The stage is set for him. He has a good, durable, tough opponent in Troy Jones come Saturday, but I believe Ezra has the talent, the intestinal fortitude and determination and the will to make something that should be a so-called step up. He can make it the best performance of his career come Saturday.
One thing I wanted to ask yourself, Malik, and it's a lot of things that British fighters sometimes tend to do is, go over the pond and train in America. How beneficial do you feel like it is for a fighter, especially from the British fighters, to go over and do that and get that experience? Because I'm sure you would have known growing up in all the American gyms, it is a hostile environment. So how beneficial do you feel like it is for a fighter someone like Ezra, who isn't always used to that in their nature?
I think it's very beneficial, especially for someone like Ezra. He's young. He's always seeking knowledge, anything to elevate his game. And when he came over to Brick House Boxing Gym, we welcomed him with open arms. And when he came there, he got some of the best high-level sparring that you can get. And he was doing more than holding his own in those sparring sessions with top-quality guys. And I was very impressed with, like I said, his character in the ring as well as his character outside the ring. This young man really sacrificed a lot for this fight, and I believe the destiny through God is going to give him what he deserves, and that's this victory. And he's going to look like a professional getting it done.
For sure. Malik, I did want to ask you about obviously other fighters. Deontay Wilder returns in June. I guess what can you say about the return of Deontay and him back in the ring, obviously after a year out since the Zhilei Zhang fight?
Well, it was.
That's cool.
It was good. It was a year much needed because he had a lot of issues concerning his limbs and his hand and elbow and just things like that he needed to recover from. He never really fought 100% healthy. He's always winning with all these issues. So he had some time to rest, handle those injuries, and come the end of June, he's going to look good, man. All he has to do is be a confident Wilder, a focused Wilder, and a mentally tough Wilder. And when he's in that mode, he's the most dangerous man in the world.
Do you feel like he can get back up to world level again after?
Absolutely. Like I said, it's up to him if he wants to. And that's all a part of, I believe this. I believe fighters that constantly go in the ring and they may deal with something in their shoulders. They may deal with things that they're fighting concerning health-wise and different injuries like that. I think that could play a mental toll on you after a while. Deontay Willie, in my opinion, never fought healthy.
Yeah.
He always had hand issues. He punched so hard, elbow issues, shoulder. So this rest that he has had has been real good for him.
Yeah.
He has had the time to handle a lot of those issues, and also just the mental rest. You know what I mean? That a lot of fighters need, especially on the second half of their career. He was able to do that, and you guys are going to see his hard work pay off.
Yeah, because obviously after the Zhang fight and coming off the Parker fight too, and there was a lot of calls for Deontay to retire in the media. Do you understand, I guess, with the comeback of people being concerned about him coming back and wondering, what he has left in a sense? Like, you know more than what the average eye might see.
Yes.
But yeah, obviously important to, I guess, prove those people wrong that may sort of not want him to box anymore.
Right. Well, I just look at it like the first half of your career, people is going to doubt you. You proved them wrong. The second half of your career, people is going to doubt you. It's up to you if you're going to prove them wrong. His destiny is in his own hands. Like I said, a confident, mentally tough Wilder is a bad intentional Wilder. When he's throwing that right hand, he's not second guessing. He's believing in himself. And right now, he's back healthy. He's back believing in himself. So you guys can expect him to see, back explosive and concussing people.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I guess with a fighter like Deontay, that meanness anymore, that sort of willingness to throw the right hand is probably not what we've seen in the Zhang fight, or we didn't see it in the Parker fight.
Or you may have seen it in the Zhang fight, but Zhang may have took the right hand.
Yeah.
You may have seen him throw it in the Zhang fight, but Zhang took the right hand. And he took the right hand from probably a Wilder that was a bit unhealthy with his right shoulder, or with his right bicep, or with his right hand. Or Zhang may just have a good chin when it comes to that on that night of the fight. Joe Parker, Deontay just couldn't pull the trigger that night. I can't explain boxing sometimes, and that's one night that I would never really understand. He just couldn't pull the trigger, waiting, hesitating at times, not at times, a lot of times. But the most important thing is now he's healthy, he's back confident, and like I said, when he's healthy and confident, he's a very dangerous man.
Another guy you work with, Zurdo Ramirez, he returns against Dorticos. I'm sure yourself you believe he is the best cruiserweight on the planet, but looking forward to seeing his return against Dorticos.
Yes. He's fighting a guy that has a very, very good right hand. He's fighting a guy that's tough. But that guy is fighting someone that know how to box, that know how to slug, that has incredible punch intake, that know how to give angles, that have good agility, that have good mobility, that have good reflexes. He's fighting someone that's just as tall as him. Zurdo is a different breed. He have a hell of a coach behind him, Julian Chua, who is incredible, who does incredible work with him. And like I tell people, Julian Chua drills Zurdo perfectly for Zurdo's style. He drills Zurdo perfectly for Zurdo attributes and his strengths. And the things Zurdo may not be good at, whatever they are, because in my opinion, Zurdo is a complete fighter. He knows how to fight going to the left, right, forward, backwards. He treats his opposition accordingly, and that's how he fight. So, saying that, you got two weapons going up against, you got two tools going up against 42s of an arsenal. So it's just not, you know what I mean? You guys can expect Zurdo Ramirez to look good again and look tough doing it, but not look dumb. He's going to look like an intelligent, tough, well-rounded fighter, like Julian Chua always have him looking.
And I know you mentioned there about being the best cruiserweight in the planet. Obviously, I know there's a man, Jai Opetaia, who would probably disagree with that. I think
he's the second best.
But do you think we can see that? Like, obviously, not looking past Dorticos. Do you think we can see that fight? Because for me, that's one of the best fights in boxing to see.
Hands down, it's a super fight. It's a fight that, even though I'm involved in, I just seeing them in the ring, I would be just as excited as a consumer. But at the same time, like I said, I'm a man who got the best tools and who got the most tools. Zurdo Ramirez can do a lot of things, in my opinion, that I just haven't seen Opetaia do yet. Does that mean he can't do it? No, but that means he's some things concerning his technique and defense is on a trial of error. So we just have to see how it plays out. But right now, the more complete fighter, in my opinion, is Zurdo Ramirez. And if they fought, you would have to go with Zurdo Ramirez, because Zurdo Ramirez is more than tough. He has more than just skills. He's he's more heavy-handed than he gets credit for. Incredible body puncher, and he gives incredible angles. Yeah, so, you know what I mean, man?
I can't wait for that.
Because it come across like I'm biased when I really just do the math.
Yeah.
Pardon me. If anything that I say about a fighter, I'm not knocking the other fighter.
Yeah.
I'm just doing the math. There's times Jai Opetaia, that he looked extremely explosive. Times he looked rapidly fast. But coming from my eye, I'm always looking for the loopholes. And just like every other fighter, he has loopholes in his game. And it's up to myself, Julian Chua, and Zurdo to take advantage of those loopholes. And that's something that I think that we all can do collectively together.
Before I do let you go, Malik, I wanted to ask you about Canelo Crawford.
Yes.
Looks like obviously September 12th, Allegiant Stadium for that.
Yes.
I guess as a fan, are you excited for that fight?
Yes, I'm excited about the fight. I think what's being highlighted shouldn't be highlighted, but it's being highlighted by casuals. And what's being highlighted is the weight issue, the strength. I don't think weight and strength that alone can win a fight for Canelo. I think skills pay bills. We all know how I feel about skills. And I think if it comes to desire and determination, I don't think you can question that about Terence Crawford. I think it's a dynamite fight. It's a super fight. It's the best fight, in my opinion, that either guy has fought amongst each other. You take Floyd Mayweather out of Canelo's resume, in my opinion, he hasn't fought nobody like Crawford.
So did you say he hasn't fought anyone like Crawford? Okay.
If you take Floyd Mayweather out of Canelo's resume, I don't see no one in the list that he's fought that's on Crawford that I would consider like a Crawford. Name somebody, help me out.
Not like Golovkin or?
In my opinion, Terence Crawford is a much more rounded fighter, more complete fighter than Golovkin. Yes.
Okay. Interesting stuff.
He's tough.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
And he's special.
Yeah.
But I just see Terence Crawford as a different type of animal. And also, you have to, then looking on the other side, you got to give Canelo credit. Canelo have dealt with guys that know how to be physical on the inside, and he conquered them. So we know how physical that Terence Crawford like to be on the inside, but we're going to see if he can offset Canelo's inside work. We're going to see if Canelo could keep up with his agility. We're going to see if Canelo could keep up with someone switching in front of him and being ballsy enough to counter back at close quarters. It's a super fight. If you ask me a prediction, I really wouldn't know who to pick, but I know that I'm going to lean a little bit more towards Crawford than Canelo.
Interesting stuff. Malik, always good to get your opinion on boxing. Always good to see you. Good to see you in the UK.
Too,
always
brother.
a pleasure,
Absolutely.
mate. Great to see you, Malik. Appreciate the time and all the best for tomorrow with Ezra against
Ezra
Joy Jones.
Taylor, going to look like a professional.
Top man, as always. Cheers, mate. Thank you.